starting the stream.
Start the stream.
Don't cross the stream because we're starting. That's Goosebusters. Old reference. Not the new one.
A Goosebusters?
A Goosebuster.
I don't know what Goosebusters is.
They just go busting.
Busting gooses?
Busting makes them feel good.
Gross.
Hey, not my line. Also, not my job right there. Alright, we're good. We're going. We're live. You want to give us an intro?
At some point when we turn on Audacity.
Oh, you actually want to go Audacity?
Yeah, I don't intro the YouTube thing.
I intro the YouTube thing. This is our intro. This is our 1 minute slash going to babble minute. Make sure people are online and watching us.
Babble, babble, babble.
Yeah, usually if you watch this recording, you can skip the first minute or two till we get into the news.
We recommend it.
Yes, because you can just hear us Babylonian. I'm sorry, babble on again. And if this wants to give me the thing, so I can, there we go. Babble on again. 1, 2, done. Next, send. We're good. Let's post. Wait, that did send, right?
Post Malone.
Oh, God. Is he at the front again?
No.
But he's in the top something or something,
He's
right?
in the top something.
Give him something to top out. Yes, those were words.
Yeah,
All right.
Yes,
there you go. This one's for you.
Just a second. There we go.
You can save, and we can record in 3, 2.
Record?
Well,
All right. Ripcord is pulled. It's time for the Media Boat podcast. You use ripcords on boats, don't you? Is that a thing?
I don't use the cord to start the motor.
Yeah. So yeah.
If you don't have the push to start.
This is the motor media boat, then yeah, I guess you do.
Motor your
push
media.
To start.
Motor your media boat.
It's the Media Boat podcast. That means 1, we get to ramble, and 2, it means that this is your source for news about movies, television, video games, and music. Not necessarily in that order. Got little hand motions to go with my thing there.
Yes,
Pretty
this
cool.
definitely plays on the podcast.
Definitely plays on an audio medium. You may be watching this live, though, if you're watching our stream on youtube.com. Media Boat Podcast is both a live show and a recorded audio podcast. So however you like absorbing our content, we thank you.
Yes, thank you for absorbing us.
Thank you for absorbing us like sun. Like you are a plant with chlorophyll. But yeah.
Just soaking you in.
It is
summer.
June the 26th.
7th.
27th?
27th.
Day off. June the 27th, 2018. This is episode 129. Next week will be big 130.
Oh.
Can you believe it?
Get to the 1-3s.
But for now, it's episode 129. End of June here. Next week it will be July. Next week it'll also be
July 4th. Like podcasting on July 4th. How are we going to do that?
Oh yeah, shoot. We didn't think about that, did we? Am I good?
We may do a Thursday show.
We may do a Tuesday show the night. Oh wait, no, you're gonna be gone.
We're gonna be gone Tuesday. Oh yeah, we got Tuesday.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe we'll do a Thursday show next week. So we'll probably be a day later than usual for our next episode. But hey, we'll let you know. Just
that may just be an audio format.
Yeah,
only.
find us on our social media channels, and we'll let you know the newest updates for when the show is next week. But as for this week, it'll be a regular show. So let's go right into it. We always start the Media Boat podcast with movies, and we always start movies with the weekend's box office numbers.
So no surprise here at what was number 1.
Yeah. We called this.
Yes, Pratosaurus Money Box.
Pratosaurus Chris in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Jurassic World:
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom is your number 1 movie this week with $148 million.
Woo!
Woo!
However, that may sound like a lot. But consider that Incredibles 2 the previous week made 185, and the original in Jurassic World
set a record.
Went over 200 million.
Right. So not as great as I'm sure the studio would dream about, but still decent money.
It's nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure.
Nothing to sneeze at. Incredibles 2 came in at number 2 with another $80 million, adding to its $350 million total.
Yes, that $350 million automatically puts it in the top 5 of the year.
Nice.
And I think it puts it on the 4th biggest movie domestically so far.
Good for it. Making that money. We saw...
Can you name the other 3?
No.
2 Disney's and a superhero.
2 Disney's.
Well, technically they're all 3. They're all superheroes.
Deadpool.
And...
Infinity War.
And...
Black Panther.
There you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, they're definitely all superheroes.
Yep.
All right.
And Incredibles 2 is superheroes too.
So yeah, we saw Incredibles 2. We'll talk about it once we wrap up the top 5 here.
Yes.
But yes, so we will have thoughts. We have some thoughts.
Oh, we got some thoughts.
About it. Now, coming in at number 3, Ocean's 8 hops down the list here with another $11 million. Tag, Jeremy Renner's Fake Arms, coming in at number 4 with another $8 million. And lastly, rounding out your top 5, still the aforementioned Deadpool 2, earning another $5 million, bringing its total worldwide to $304 million.
That's domestic.
That's domestic? You have $110 million there. I'm not really sure which number is which.
The 110 is how much it cost.
Oh. I didn't realize those were budgets.
Yeah. I should probably switch that, though.
The
budget, so I'll just do worldwide now.
Don't even bother with budgets.
Yeah.
We don't care.
I'll just put
all these movies have made money. That's all you need to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially Ocean's 8. Has that crossed the 100 million mark?
Easy
money.
So yeah, that's your top 5. So yeah, like I said, we saw...
Well, we have upcoming movies.
Incredibles. Oh, you want to do that first?
Yeah.
All right, well, if you're wondering what movie to see that's not The Incredibles 2 or Jurassic World, coming this weekend, you have 2 movies. You have Sicario 2. Sicario 2?
Yes.
I don't know what this is.
This is a sequel.
To
Sicario.
You don't say.
This is Sicario, Day of the Dead. Sequel to Sicario that came out 3 years ago, I think, starring Josh Brolin.
Okay.
And Benicio del Toro in a Mexican gang war versus U.S. Border Patrol, I think they are. Or like some type of special U.S. forces versus Mexican gangs in Mexico. The first one was definitely good. I really suggest checking it out. Definitely a fresh take on basically what was 90s almost gangster movies, but definitely shoot 'em ups. Mm-hmm. So this one looks good. I might be checking this one out.
Okay, cool.
If I have the time. I'll be super busy this upcoming week.
Also this weekend, Uncle Drew.
This is a basketball movie based off the digital shorts of Kyrie Irving dressing up as an old man playing Uncle Drew.
Uncle Drew.
This movie stars a bunch of other ex-NBA players. Reggie Miller, Shaquille O'Neal. I think Lisa Leslie's in it.
All right.
Yeah. I think she's in it. But yeah, other people too. It's a comedy. It's basketball. Looks kind of funny. I think I'm checking this one out if I can.
Okay.
Doctor and Tyler want to see it.
Right.
So I may go with them and watch that.
Okay, so you might have 2 movies on your docket this week.
May or may not. Will depend on what I got going on.
We will see.
Because it is a busy weekend for me.
Yeah, it's a busy week. We're coming on a holiday week coming up next week. So
yeah, we're coming up on 4th of July, as we mentioned.
Busy times.
But yeah, well, I'm sure I'll see something. Also, just a side note about movies that are out. American Animals apparently got a limited release. It is out in theaters right now. Currently running a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
Now, what is that?
That is a wannabe criminals. Well, I don't say wannabe criminals, but they're first-time criminals of like college people who want to rob a museum in order to like pay for student loans and stay out of debt and stuff like that. Looks interesting, based off a true story. Limited release, so check your like indie theaters for that, because I know it's playing up at UCI.
Yeah, of course.
Because they have all the limited releases.
Yep.
But definitely check it out if you can. I've been trying to. I saw this. I kept it on my radar. It's out. I'm going to eventually see it. Eventually, I have no timetable to actually see it. But yeah, check that one out. But I did check out a couple movies though. Yes,
you did. So let's start with the one that you saw: Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
You're gonna keep saying that, aren't you?
Yes, you have to. So how was this? How did this rank to the last Jurassic World?
So I went to the movies to see Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
It was sold out.
Right.
So I had to settle for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
And did you really have to settle? Is that how you ended up feeling about this thing?
That's how I ended up feeling about it. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so going to see it, like, it was either going to be one or the other when I went to the theater.
Right.
But after watching it, I felt like I was definitely settling.
Yeah.
So this is from director J.A. Bayona, who also directed The Orphanage. And the only reason I bring that specific work up and not any other stuff that he's done is because that is a horror film. And this film definitely plays up into a horror genre. Kind of a monster in the house, you could say, type of thing. Also, it, in a way...
It's more Alien 1 than it is Aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, got
it also is very similar to Lost World Jurassic Park.
Huh.
By that, I mean story-wise, where you have a group of mercenaries go to the island in order to... They say save the dinosaurs, but really it's to kidnap and then sell them off.
Right.
Just like in Lost World, I think they were working for SeaWorld or SeaWorld-esque type of thing. It was San Diego, so I assumed it was SeaWorld, I think. When I was
Their in-universe version of SeaWorld, yeah.
Yeah. Basically that's the first half of this movie. Second half of this movie is the stuff they don't show you, and is where people are like, okay, maybe I'm into this, maybe I'm not, because that's when it goes super horror film on me.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of horror films.
No.
Just in general, they don't suit me well. They're not for me. I don't get scared from them. They're jump scares, but I will watch them because usually you get a lot of creativity out of it, because they're usually first-time directors or first-time writers, and it's something different that studios are willing to throw money at for low budget, so you gotta get creative in how you do that. This, however,
is a big budget
film that uses big budget effects.
Yeah.
Trying to do that in a horror film doesn't quite work for me.
Yeah.
While it's fair to say that there are dinosaurs, there's Chris Pratt, there is action. Thus, as I said last week, it checks off everything I want in the film.
Right, exactly.
In the first half of the film.
Oh,
there's the second half of the film.
What happens in the second half?
Like I said,
no spoilers.
It goes into a horror film. They again tried the dino DNA splicing thing to create new dinosaurs.
Create a new dinosaur thing.
Yeah. There's also a subplot involving the raptors. The subplot involving...
Wait, the Toronto Raptors? Is Drake there?
No, he sold his shares.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, he was there trying to buy more raptors. But yeah, it goes into a weird, like, auction of, like, illegal, like, black market $1 million auctions for these dinosaurs for, like, warfare or owning or something like that. Which is... I like where that was going. I thought it was interesting. But it never went further than that.
Oh.
Never went further than the auction. Never went further than what their intentions were, other than, hey, we have this like dark society of millionaires and billionaires who want to buy dinosaurs. Because hey, who doesn't want to buy a dinosaur?
I do.
You know, if you have like $30 million to throw around.
Spare.
Yeah. apparently there's supposed to be like a Russian like subplot attached to this before that got scrapped.
Oh yeah.
I was reading somewhere about that.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's definitely an interesting film. It's a horror film. Just know that going in. Like the second half is definitely a horror film. They use the new characters interestingly.
Okay.
In that they're there, they have a purpose, but you don't really gain sympathy or empathy or really care for those characters though.
Yeah, because they don't have a whole lot of screen time.
One, they don't have a whole lot of screen time. Two, they feel and act like throwaway characters or like plot characters or like studios' involvement of, we need to add these people in, so make sure you have something for them. Also, it felt like
Jake Johnson in the first one.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's definitely holes in this film. Definitely not the best. I mean, Jurassic World, I think...
It had its issues, too.
One, it had its issues, but I think now that it's got like a bunch of replays, it's being regarded like in high value, like a classic.
That's the thing, though, is that like I feel like it depends 100% on who you ask.
Yeah.
Because like I know people who genuinely enjoy that movie a lot, like it did at the time it came out too,
Mm-hmm.
and now I know people who think it's the worst thing in the world still.
I know, it's weird. I want Camp A though.
Yeah.
I think it's got enough charm and enough stuff
I
in
thought
it
it was
to keep
fun.
To keep you interested.
Yeah.
It has enough in it to keep you interested.
I thought it was fun when I first saw it, but now every single time I've seen it since, it gets worse every time I see it.
I don't know if it gets worse.
Yeah, to me. I start thinking about all the problems now. Like, every time I see it on TV. Maybe it's the seeing it on TV part.
Maybe it's the seeing it on
like,
TV.
there was something about it in theaters where I was willing to, like, maybe, what's the phrase? What's the thing? So, to something,
temper your expectations?
Yeah, a little bit of that, but, anyways. But yeah, I don't know. So this one, do you think it's going to have staying power, or it's going to be...
In a crowded summer, the thing's going to sink fast.
So, in that case, what do you think about next week? Do you think it holds on to number one?
I think so.
I mean, there's nothing really to challenge it.
There's nothing really to challenge it. Yeah. Comedies aren't going to hit the 80.
No.
Or even the 60 that's projected to go at.
Do you think that
So it's going to hold over.
Here's my question, though. Do you think the July 4th family crowd puts Incredibles back up?
Maybe. But July 4th also has the first Purge opening. And people love the Purge.
Okay.
I think because it's getting that Wednesday release, it's going to shoot past.
Yeah. Yep, you might be right. Okay.
All right.
Is that all you wanted to say? Anything else about Jurassic World? What would you give it on the patented media boat scale of pass, stream it, or see it?
Stream it. It did a thing where it feels like it's a middle movie.
Yeah.
Because it sets it up to where now the dinosaurs are.
Oh, you know that they're going to make a third one. You know they're going to make it.
So, yeah. I mean, this thing opened up already worldwide.
Yeah.
So, it made money overseas. It's an international film. It's not a U.S. film.
Yep.
That's where it's going to make its money.
Yep,
so
it is.
It's going to get a third one. Where they go with the third one will be interesting because I don't think they're going to have Colin Trevorrow back.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe they will. I don't know.
No, probably not.
I don't think they'll bring back Jay Bayona, though.
No. Third. Okay, you pick that director then. Who do you want to see make a Jurassic Park movie?
Funny enough, I want to say Spielberg, but no.
No, he
wouldn't do it.
What would a Matthew Vaughn Jurassic Park movie look like?
Too much action.
Yeah, not enough.
Well, that's the thing, though, because it depends on where you go with this thing.
Yeah, it does.
Because you can go, if you want to go like the family route, I'd go with I don't want to say Christopher Columbus because that's one you think he's old and done for. Yeah. Even Robert Zemeckis is kind of like out of it too.
No. You're naming a lot of old directors. You need a young guy.
Yeah, you need a young guy. You need a fresh guy
for this. Or a lady. I'm not saying it just has to be a guy.
Yeah. I want to say, depending on how it goes, either like F. Gary Gray, maybe.
Okay.
He did Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
He's interesting. That may be something to look at. Not Spike Lee.
No.
But there's a movie coming out called Thank You for Holding.
Okay.
If that does well, see if that guy's gonna get it.
Alright. Okay, well, let's move on, because we saw another movie, which we're probably going to talk a lot more about.
Yes.
So, Incredibles 2, the sequel to 2004's The Incredibles. It's been 14 years.
So, if you were 14 at the time that came
Yes.
out, somehow had a kid, and then they turned 14 this year, they would be the exact same age you were when you saw Incredibles.
I think, no. Yes, technically, but no. Let's not go there.
No, let's not go there.
No, but let's just put it this way. There are high school freshmen who are starting high school this fall that were born after The Incredibles came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I need to get this off my chest. I know we talked about this when we got out of the theater.
Yeah.
But, god damn it, people, learn some goddamn...
Don't talk during the movies.
Etiquette. Movie theater etiquette.
Yes, don't talk during the movie. Don't look at your phone the entire movie. Don't have arguments during the movie. Make sure you don't, take your kid, in the middle of the movie to the bathroom really obviously. There are sneaky ways to do it. I don't know.
Don't wear heels.
Don't wear heels.
You don't need to dress up for the movie.
I mean, you can wear heels to the movie. Just be smart about it.
Yes.
Be quiet.
Yeah, you're going to clap, 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 clap.
Be quiet and courteous, like they say at the beginning of every movie.
Oh, no, but see, they weren't there for that, though.
I guess not. Yeah, that's
true.
They came in after that. They didn't get that warning. They didn't know.
They didn't know.
Anyways, but that's our rant about our experience seeing Incredibles 2. But yes, we saw The Incredibles 2.
Again.
The Incredibles again. The Incredibles also. So...
The two Increditubles.
Where do we even start with this? Because there is a lot to talk about with this movie.
Alright, so let's start with the beginning of this thing. And by that, I mean the little introduction they did.
We should talk about the short. We should talk about the short. So the short was Bao. And it takes place presumably in China. There's a Chinese family.
Chinese culture.
Yeah, it is very much in Chinese culture. It's by a Chinese woman, the first female director of a Pixar short.
Okay.
It's very steeped in that culture, kind of like the same kind of treatment they did with Coco. And Mexican culture you see here with Chinese culture. And it's very much about the relationship of a person and their father.
Mother.
Mother and
her son.
And a father and a son. It's a family dynamic.
It's a family dynamic. It's mainly focused on the mother being an empty nester.
Yeah. And
how she grieves and then copes with basically being alone.
Having a child that grows up
yeah.
and leaves her. And that dynamic is shown through the metaphor of a living dumpling.
Which is a neat idea.
Yeah, you watch the dumpling grow up. You watch the dumpling go through adolescence.
So you know how each Pixar short is usually a test demo for something?
Yeah.
I think this was a test demo for that dough.
That dough looks
just the way the dough moves and feels and being worked with.
Right.
It was amazing. It looked real. I think that's what they're testing here.
It has to be.
It's food related analogy of just non-Newtonian fluids.
But yeah, we should probably talk about here that this short has ended up being very divisive for people. It seems like a lot of people didn't get it, or at least maybe thought that there was more comedy in the more touching moments than there should have been. And I guess I kind of get it. I was talking to someone today about it, where I was like, I think it's because it's a natural reaction if you don't expect something to laugh.
Right.
And a lot of people use humor as a mechanism for something that they are surprised by. But then immediately after a moment, which I will not spoil because I feel like that is the thing about the short.
That is the thing.
It is the thing about the short. That is also the turning point for the short when things get very real.
Yes.
And that's when you get your very touching emotional meaning. The emotional metaphor really shows through after that part. But you have to make it to that part because that part you have to understand it as a metaphor, and it kind of clicked for me after it happened.
Right.
And so at first I was like, "Oh, what the?" And I definitely laughed because I was surprised by it.
Right.
But then after that, I was like, "Okay, I get what this is trying to do. I get what they're trying to say here." And then immediately it makes it fairly obvious. It's like, okay, this is what actually happened to this character.
Yeah, it's definitely like see how it is divisive. I mean, even in the theater, you had like half the people laugh and half the people gasp.
Right.
And yeah, it was definitely something, one, unexpected.
Yeah.
But then put into the whole aspect of it, you see why it would come to that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
We're kind of talking around it here.
I know.
I recommend seeing it, or if stuff is still sold out.
I think it's
look it up,
online.
Sure. There's probably some stuff.
I think there's a video
online
about it somewhere.
But yeah. Anyways, long story short, it's a really cute and touching story. It's really well animated, like you said. It's definitely an interesting tonal thing pairing for the movie that it's attached to, because they could not be even any more separate from each other. The Incredibles 2, I will tell you right now, do not go into this thinking that there is going to be a Pixar emotional touching moment. There is none.
There is none.
Even The Incredibles 1, I think, has a little bit more of a like the emotional moment. This one does not have that gut punch, as we call it.
Yes.
If you listen to our Pixar ranking, I tend to prefer the Pixar movies that do that.
Yeah.
This is not one of them. That being said, and this is kind of where we can pivot to actually talking about this movie.
Yeah.
This movie is very good.
Yeah. There's a lot done right in this film, especially right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's definitely got a graphic novel, comic book
100%
feel to it.
I would say even more so than the first one.
Even more so than the
first.
first.
They lean really, really hard into color. They lean really, really hard into shadows. And they lean really hard into something that you mentioned, consistent stylization.
Consistent aesthetic.
A consistent aesthetic for every character introduced. And there are a lot of new characters in this.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense for them to be aesthetically consistent throughout. And they do. And they manage to create a very believable world that, yes, shares its existence with the world in the first movie, but expands upon it. Like, this movie really makes it feel like the world of The Incredibles is this world, which the first one only kind of hinted at.
The first one was mainly focused on the family aspect, like this is the family of superheroes, whereas Incredibles 2 is more of they're not the only superheroes that exist here. Like, yes, they went into hiding, but just because they went into hiding doesn't mean other people with superpowers exist.
Right, they do, and we get to meet some of them in this.
Yes.
But yeah, before we get too far, into the plot things. I thought that one of the coolest things about this movie was that it focuses on a lot of the same themes as the first one. You get the same juxtaposition of family dynamics. This is very much still a movie about family, like the first one is. In the way that Brave is about the relationship between a mother and a daughter, The Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2 are about a family and how they, you learn to accept each other and unite with each other and work together. This one kind of reverses the roles of the first one. You have Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl, kind of going on her own. She is the focal point of the actual superhero stuff this time around, whereas Mr. Incredible was in the first one. And then you kind of have that change dynamic cause problems for him, where he has to basically be the family man. He has to basically learn how to be the father that he has to be when the mother is away. And the kids have to basically learn to adapt to not having the parents around a lot and having to figure that out, which they kind of did in the first one, but even more so have to do here.
Yeah, it was brought up at the first one, because you followed Mr. Incredible on the island adventure.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, while he's doing this, you kind of assume the mom's taking care of the family.
Right.
But wasn't necessarily shown. This time around,
that is the focal point.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the actual plot, it's kind of the B plot. So the A plot here is your superhero plot. It's Elastigirl chasing after this villain that we only halfway kind of know about, and then all of her misadventures there. And then the B plot is very much the family stuff.
Yeah.
And I think both are really, really strong. The action stuff delivers. There are a lot of great, really amazing set pieces. You especially were big on the opening, the set piece opening. Which, yeah, you were saying it does a really good job of setting up everybody, even if you haven't seen the first one, and does all of that while picking up exactly where the first one left off.
Yes. So, if you remember, right after Incredibles 1, John Ratzenberger finally makes his cameo.
Yes.
As the Underminer.
Right.
And Incredibles 2 picks up right where that left off with the Underminer basically attacking the bank and the city to rob the bank. And you see immediately all the powers in display. You see Elastigirl, or the mom, being super stretchy and super lengthy and basically being Elastigirl. You see Mr. Incredible punching stuff immediately.
Right.
You see Dash running around, super speed. And then you see Violet in the basically telekinetic...
Your shield's power,
shielding,
mostly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get kind of like a really quick overview of like, these are the characters, these are their personalities, this is how they interact with each other, and these are their superpowers.
Right.
And it does it so well that you don't even realize it does it.
Because we assume that you've seen Incredibles. So you've seen the original, so you already know this going forward. But just in case you haven't, it does it so well that you immediately recognize, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first 5 minutes, done, out of the way. But it's so seamlessly done, and it works in a family dynamic that it's not triggered.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like super standout, like basically narrating and pointing at you like, this is what everyone is, this is what everyone does.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there are movies that take a long time to get where they're going. Solo is one of them.
Yes.
This is not one of them. This immediately just goes.
Yeah, there are TV shows where the plot, where the pilot is basically them just reading off a roster saying, this is how everyone is. Basically spoon-feeding you. This isn't spoon-fed, but it kind of is at the same time.
But anyways, before we get too far in the weeds in that, the set pieces are there. There's a really, really cool set piece with the runaway train that's really great. Mm-hmm. It kind of vibes of Spider-Man 2 a little bit to me.
Well, funny you say that because Spider-Man 2 came out the same year as The Incredibles.
Right. Isn't that weird?
So that happened. We also had a train sequence in The Dark Knight, Batman.
And recently in Solo.
I think
Uncharted 2 for video games.
Yeah, train sequences have been kind of like a thing, like a very popular way to showcase your hero.
But anyways, so the action you're getting. You get a lot of the action. The villain is interesting. The twist with the villain is maybe a little predictable. I won't spoil it here. I kind of saw part of it coming, but part of it still surprised me. The new characters...
I think what we mean by that is that the person it turns out being isn't that exciting, but the motivation behind it.
Right. That's
the interesting part.
But you also, though, I don't want to underplay the action. I want to get that across. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff. So if you're going to this for an action Pixar movie, it definitely delivers on that.
Yes.
Just like the first one did, you're getting your superhero stuff. In fact, I would argue probably way more than the first movie.
Well, there's a lot more supers to go around. Yeah. And that's what thing that we're going to bring up right now is they introduced like 7 different characters.
There are new characters in this movie, and Pixar does the thing that Pixar does really well, which is here's an ensemble of new characters that are all really interesting and have really interesting hooks. They're not going to be on the screen for very long, but you will remember them.
Yep.
They do that really well now.
Yes, they've kind of mastered that brief, like, everyone looks good, everyone's memorable, and they have...
Rememberable?
Rememberable.
They're memorable.
Memorable. I remember them. And it's really, like, they're brief, they're cameos, but they're essential to the plot, and it also allows them to show off their new software, let's call it. It's not software. But they're new techniques.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like reflux, like that lava looks great.
It's hilarious.
He's also such a character.
Right, yeah.
They
managed to introduce a character in like 2 lines and to make them memorable. It's kind of incredible.
Yep.
But the other thing I want to talk about here is the flip side to that. This movie has some of the best comedy that Pixar has ever written. And I don't mean dialogue. Usually when I talk about like, oh, that's funny, it's because of something that a character says.
Right.
There are great lines in this. I don't want to say that there aren't great lines, but the visual comedy, the visual gags are some of the best the studio's ever done. There are some incredible moments.
Pun intended.
Keep saying that. There's some really, really hilarious stuff going on in this movie that I can't spoil for you because I feel like half of it is the surprise of it. So I don't want to spoil for people exactly what happens in those things. But yeah, there are moments where, the visual gags are really, really good.
There's a Looney Tunes-esque sequence. Not moment, but sequence.
Great sequences.
That is a great example of show, don't tell.
Right, yes, definitely. So yeah, you get your entire family in this one. I mean, the only way I can really wrap this up is by talking about like the tiny negatives I have, and you might have some too.
Well, the big negative for me is the lack of an emotional gut punch.
Yeah.
The lack of, I want to say, fear or terror or where they're going to lose. At no point do you feel like they're going to lose.
In the first movie, you had that moment, those couple moments, and we talked about this in our Pixar podcast.
Yes.
Where you thought that the children especially were in genuine danger. There were moments of genuine danger in that first one, where it seemed like things were really, really stacked up against them. In this one, that doesn't really happen. You have maybe towards the end, maybe like a moment where you're like, oh man, everybody's like down on their luck right now.
Right.
But there are certain members of the family who literally are never in peril.
Yeah.
And and there is kind of like, and one of the members of the family is kind of used as a plot device to keep everyone alive, weirdly enough. And so it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't have that emotional moment really.
Right.
Even when it tries, because you know that everybody's going to be fine. Because they're superheroes.
Right. And I think that's actually kind of done on purpose, where it doesn't lean into them dying, but rather into the heroes not being accepted anymore. Basically, being forced to go back into hiding.
Which is interesting when you compare and contrast, like we did kind of yesterday when we were talking about this, with Finding Dory. And I brought that up multiple times because they're both sequels to very, very extremely popular Pixar movies, and extremely like people who have like very beloved Pixar movies. Mm-hmm. And the difference is, and both kind of do have the same themes. They address some of the same themes, like we said about the family stuff, about specifically that feeling of, oh, I'm worried about my kids being in danger. That theme is revisited here.
It's also a theme of just both films kind of being the same generic plot.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take.
But where Dory, one of our problems, and especially your problem with Dory, was that it did it in kind of the same exact way. So the characters were basically forced to learn the same lessons that they already should have learned in the first movie.
Right, and that was my big problem was, well, besides the lack of scope.
Right. This movie, though, does not have that problem.
No.
It goes over some of the same themes, but it blasts past the stuff that these characters already learned. These characters had that experience. They know what happened. They've learned. They've bettered themselves. So the themes are revisited differently this time.
Also because there's no generic time skip.
Yeah.
It takes place immediately after the first one.
Yeah, they've had a crazy couple weeks.
Fresh. Like, everything that they learned should be fresh in their minds. Like, it's to tackle new problems.
Right. And they give them meaty enough new problems where it doesn't feel like... It never feels like they're retreading the same ground, which is good. But yeah, the last thing I want to talk about really about negatives, and I had to dig pretty deep for this, because I did have a lot of fun. But one of the things that kind of bugged me is that this is a movie that makes you wonder about the earlier drafts. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of times in this movie where it feels like that they want to make a statement about something, whether it be politics, whether it be about the concept of the existence of superheroes, and even about people's distraction with like technology and not dealing with their real lives because of their being distracted by screens. All of these things are addressed like very briefly in like a line or two. And immediately like left.
It feels like Brad Bird wanted to go down this route, wanted to go down this rabbit hole, but either Disney or Pixar basically said, "Don't forget, these are for kids. Even though this is an animated film, and we do gear towards the young adults. Yeah, this is still a kids movie, so maybe not something we should bring up here."
Yeah, I mean the stuff about the screen stuff is interesting, especially considering that
is
your villain saying that.
Yeah,
but also at some point in that movie, there's a person, and I'm really having a hard time jumping over the spoiler.
Yeah, I know you are.
So I'm gonna stop there because I feel like I was gonna get too close. But there,
just like Brad Bird,
there are conversations. Yeah, there are conversations that occur between characters in this movie where you think, oh, they're really setting this up as like a meeting of different, very different ideologies, and then it doesn't really do it. Like there's even a line later where Elastigirl says to the villain that, oh, well, at least I stand for something, implying that the other person doesn't, but the villain very clearly stands for something.
Yeah.
And so I was very confused by that line, where it almost seems like it's I don't know, that there was something there in a previous draft that got thrown out.
Right.
Like, and I had that moment a few times. So I don't know. I was telling you this will be a very interesting Blu-ray because
you want deleted scenes or even the commentary
will be fascinating.
Yeah, give me Brad Bird talking about this thing.
Yeah, we really, really do. Do you have anything we haven't touched on?
That we haven't touched on?
I mean, it looks beautiful. We don't even need to say that at this point.
I think the last thing we need to touch on is, do we rank it?
Oh, jeez. So yeah, you proposed this question to me. We just, in case you didn't know, ranked all of the Pixar films in order of our perceived quality of them.
Right.
And I think we had like an asterisk at the end of that thing because we knew this was coming out, and we were fairly certain it was going to be good. And we were like, yeah, chances are this is going to be somewhere up pretty high.
Yeah.
Now after seeing it, I feel like I have to see it a second time to really know for sure where I think it would go.
For me, it would go right below Incredibles, the first one. Because it's definitely a good companion piece.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I think the first one had a lot more memorable scenes, like Dash running on the water, everyone like learning their powers in the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is more of an action-adventure movie, which is done super well, especially with the technology growth over 14 years. But that emotional gut punch, or even like that terror, is what's missing for me to like make it stand out. Because I still regard Coco being better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I still regard
Coco's still a better movie.
Yeah, I still regard our top 3 that we were arguing about better than this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's hard to rank it also because of recency. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know whether we'd be able to really compare it. So maybe we'll revisit this later.
We'll probably visit this at the end of the year.
But yeah, anyways, anything else you want to talk about with this? Because we've spent a lot of time.
We've spent a lot of time with this. Definitely go see it. I think that's a given. If you can see it, buy your ticket in advance.
Yeah, apparently.
Other than that, no. I think we talked this thing to death. We're like hitting the 40-minute mark here.
Yeah. But chances are we'll revisit this probably in our end of the year lists.
Yeah. Oh, this is definitely going to be like on our top 5.
For sure.
Movies of the year.
All right, let's move on then. We're done with thoughts, so that means let's talk about proper movie news.
Yeah, there's still a whole episode to get through.
Yeah, an entire podcast to get through, so let's blaze through all this.
All right, let's go through this fast. I made sure to make like short stories here.
Yeah. First up in movie news, he's an occasional movie star, but you may know him more from television.
One of our favorites, Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh, you're going to skip the first story? Oh,
that is the first story.
I scrolled down too far.
Yes.
But yeah, that's, I guess, the wrong person. But yes, I guess you'll mostly know this guy from movies now.
For TV.
But yes,
yeah.
Our friend Kumail is in the news this week. He has officially joined the cast of the Men in Black reboot, which will also star Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Liam Neeson, and which will begin shooting next month. He will be playing the role of a character named Pawnee, a funny, wisecracking, sex-driven alien from a civilization that exists on a chessboard. Interesting. Hemsworth will play a suave but goofy James Bond-esque British Men in Black agent.
Guess what his name is?
I don't know. It doesn't say, so I don't know.
And I'll take a guess.
I don't know.
Agent H.
H?
Agent H.
H, alright.
For Hemsworth.
Yeah. Thompson will play Molly, a young woman who knows that aliens exist and is determined to become an MIP agent. F. Gary Gray, who is from Fate of the Furious, the director of Fate of the Furious, will direct from a script by Matt Holloway and Art Marca.
As far as I know, this will not involve 21 Jump Street as previously thought.
Well, I thought was going to be a separate movie.
No, it was supposed to be like a dual crossover something.
Yeah, but I thought that was a separate movie from the Men in Black reboot.
I think that was this thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I had read conflicting things.
Okay.
But yeah, Sony currently has this set for a summer 2019 release date, so for a year from now.
So a year from now, they'll have everything done, supposedly.
Yep.
But yeah, that's actually pretty fast for a big budget film.
Yeah, it is.
Especially with like aliens and prosthetics and makeup, and maybe not that much CGI then. Maybe they'll go practical.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good.
Moving on from Kumail, another
TV
star of TV and film. Terry Crews. He's in the news, but for less fun things. He, of course, testified recently before the Senate Judiciary Committee on sexual assault, and said that he was threatened with retaliation for speaking out about a sexual assault by his former agent, Adam Bennett, which we previously reported about on this podcast.
Yep.
Saying that the Expendable Force producer, Avi Lerner, warned of vague troubles unless he withdraws that civil suit. Ugh. That's not good.
No, it's not.
When asked if Crews was going to have a role in the sequel, he said he didn't want any part of the film if Avi was going to be involved. Saying, abusers protect abusers. Am I going to be part of this, or am I going to take a stand? And there are products I had to turn down. Meanwhile, Avi is currently being sued for sexual harassment, what do you know, hostile work environment, and gender discrimination. Crews was one of the 3 people called to testify at this hearing about the Sexual Assault Survivors Bill of Rights, which provides new rights for victims of sexual violence in the Federal Criminal Code.
One, it will eliminate the statute, or at least expand upon it.
Expand the statute of limitations for sexual assault cases.
Right.
Which needs to happen.
That's one, and then 2, create more of a safe haven, so if people do come to the police or to others, that they won't be immediately turned away or mocked or ridiculed. That's something to be taken seriously.
Right.
No matter who comes in, like Terry Crews.
Yeah. So this is good news if this goes through. I think this is good that somebody with a big name like Terry is getting involved with this and spreading the message of this.
1, he's a big name. 2, he's a big guy. And 3, it also shows that this goes both ways. It's not just women.
Right, that's true.
So it's definitely a good on him to be able to step out and speak about this.
And also good for him for turning down doing projects with terrible people.
Yeah.
Like, good for him to having control over that thing and not kind of falling into that trap that a lot of people do. Where it's like, well, I need to do this. I need to get my name out there. It's like, no, you can make these smart choices and support people you want to support.
So his entire testimony is available on YouTube for you to watch right now. It's like 22 minutes or something like that. But it's definitely a tear-jerking speech that he gives.
Yeah.
And he actually goes into saying that, like, one of his quotes is, people come to Hollywood for dream of Hollywood,
right?
But then realize that it's a nightmare if they have to play this game.
Yeah,
and he wants to be part of that rebuilding of what it means to become a star.
And that's good.
That's good.
And a lot of people are helping rewrite those rules, and it's really, really exciting to watch.
Yep, a lot of people are stepping up and making new companies, like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Of those 3 women creating their own management company.
Management company to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
It's good news. All right, let's move on to something a little bit more fun.
A little bit more me.
Fan of Dragon Ball Z.
And you know I am.
Which I know you are. There are 3 Dragon Ball Z movies that have been remastered and that will hit select theaters this fall. First up, Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan.
This is one of the better of the films.
It will debut on September 15th and 17th. The movie was originally released in 1993.
Yeah, so it's been a couple of years.
A couple. Then in November, a double feature featuring Bardock, the father of Goku, and another movie called Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn will have their remasters on November 3rd and 5th. In addition to these films with their English dubs, which will be how they're presented, you will also receive an exclusive Broly trading card from Bandai's Dragon Ball Super card game. So
it's fun.
It's like those Pokemon movies back in the day. It gave you a card.
Right. You get Super Saiyan, legendary Super Saiyan Broly, 1,000 or 10,000. Well, technically it's over 10,000. Power limits in base. I had to.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are 3 of the better DBZ movies that they've put out. The first time they meet Broly, the father of Bardock, which they've retconned with this film, and Fusion, which means you get to see Gogeta. Super Saiyan Gogeta.
Gogeta?
Yeah.
I'm not even
That's a fusion.
I'm not getting it.
That is a fusion. That's the name, Fusion Reborn.
That makes sense.
Yep.
But let's move on. We always have a story about MoviePass, and this week is no
last week we were talking about AMC releasing their version of MoviePass. Well, MoviePass decided to retaliate.
By doing their own version of MoviePass. Wait, no, they are MoviePass. They are beginning next month. The app will introduce surge pricing if you want to see a popular film during peak hours. This will just add an additional charge of $2 for titles that the app deems very popular with subscribers.
It's 2 or more.
Yeah.
It's a 2 plus. So base of $2, but it could be more depending on the popularity of what film it is and when you see it.
Though you have here that it's probably just on opening weekends.
Yeah, they said for opening weekends, but I mean, if it's big enough release like Incredibles,
people see it anyway.
Where people are going to see it multiple like weekends, like number ones, you may see it may see the surge happen then.
In addition, and we kind of saw this coming, we kind of called this last week.
Yeah.
In addition, MoviePass will be introducing their own upgrade to pay for premium formats like IMAX or 3D films, along with the option to buy an extra ticket for a friend or somebody who does not belong to MoviePass.
Yeah.
This comes, of course, hot off the heels of the AMC A-List $20 a month offering we talked about last week.
Yes. If your friend does sign up after purchasing that ticket, you'll get refunded the ticket.
Yeah.
But this is what MoviePass needed to do. They say it's been in the works for a while now. I do actually look forward to using it for those IMAX screenings, depending on how much it is extra. Because for $2 extra, yeah, I'll pay that to see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Get reserved seating in there. But this also will deal a blow to AMC because this just makes MoviePass even more versatile now. Because the point of doing the AMC was that, hey, all these premium formats, no matter what, come and get it. But it's still $10 cheaper per month.
Yeah.
And if you see one IMAX movie a month, it's not going to make up the difference. Even buying a ticket a month is not going to make up the difference. So, yeah, good on MoviePass. I look forward to seeing this being rolled out. Look forward to seeing their numbers continue to grow. And hopefully you don't go away and screw me over like midway through the year.
It might happen.
I don't know.
All right, so let's move out of movies. That
wraps us up with film then.
Television is
We went
next.
through that quickly.
We always start television with sports, and this week is no exception. We start, of course, with our World Cup updates.
Oh, yeah.
World Cup standings are pretty much set with the last two groups playing tomorrow.
Yep.
Saturday, begins the elimination round.
Right, and so far we have those brackets actually set up for us. We have Uruguay going to play Portugal.
Okay.
France versus Argentina. Brazil playing Mexico in the first elimination round. Spain versus Russia. Croatia versus Denmark. And Sweden versus Switzerland.
So if your home country is in that list, get ready.
And most likely going to make it is England and Belgium. Unless something crazy happens. Because Tunisia could still make it, but they got to win both games.
Tunisia?
Yes, Tunisia. They got to win both games in order to make it.
Uh-huh.
And then in Group H, Japan, Senegal, Colombia, and Poland could all make it because they still have 2 games left to play each. So that one is a toss-up as to who's going to make it. Right now, Japan and Senegal are in those leads, but hey, Poland can't pull a surprise here.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, as the song goes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, dudes. Yes, we're talking about sports.
All right, so that's your World Cup update. Next up, the NBA awards happened.
Yes, the NBA has ended, but now it's to give out the hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the trophy, but these are the individual awards.
Yes, individual awards. Your winners included James Harden of Houston won the MVP award.
Yes, beating out LeBron, 2-time defending champion.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Ben Simmons of Philadelphia is the Rookie of the Year.
I don't know who that is.
Lou Williams of the Clippers was the 6th Man of the Year.
Yes. Normally that one actually went to James Harden for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because he came off the bench. 6th man is anybody who's not a starter. Anyone comes off the bench.
Rudy Gobert, or Gobert, I'm not sure, of Utah.
I think it's
Defensive
Goober.
Player of the Year.
I think it might be Goober.
Goober?
I don't know how to
Rudy
say it.
Goober?
I don't know how to say it.
His name is not Rudy Goober. I refuse to believe that. If it is, though, he becomes my favorite player. Immediately. And Dwayne Casey of Toronto is the Coach of the Year.
Which is funny because he was fired as Toronto's coach at the end of the year.
Yeah, so much for that. Hockey was also got some awards for their players as well.
Yep.
Your NHL awards went to Taylor Hall from the New Jersey Devils, as your MVP.
Yep.
Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning is your best defenseman. Pekka Rinne of Nashville Predators is your best goaltender. Anze Kopitar from your Los Angeles Kings.
Kobe.
Won for fewest goals scored against. And Gerard Gallant.
Didn't. You read that wrong.
That's what it says. Oh, I skipped a line.
You skipped a line.
I skipped a line. Sorry, he's the best defensive forward.
Because he's not a goalie.
Yeah. Good point. I skipped a line.
You skipped a line.
Sorry, yes. Kopitar, best defensive forward. Alex Ovechkin of Washington is your top goal scorer.
Yes.
Jonathan Quick of the Los Angeles Kings is your fewest goals scored against.
There you go.
And Gerard Gallant of the Las Vegas Knights is your Coach of the Year.
I believe that. I'd give him taking the first team
to the playoffs,
to the finals. Yeah. That's a Coach of the Year award right there.
Coach of the Year.
I think that's it for sports. I can't think of anything else that happened. Baseball MLB still happening. Get your votes in for that. That's on the 17th. NFL. The players voted on the best player in the league.
Okay.
Guess who was number 1?
Colin Kaepernick.
None other than Mr. Tom Brady.
By
unanimous decision.
Boring.
Yeah, so Tom Brady is the best player in the game right now.
Is he?
I believe it. Given his age, given all his wins, I believe it. The fact that he could take a team down 14-0 in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left and win.
That was one time.
Multiple times. That was a playoff game. But yes, multiple times.
Yeah, I know.
If you're going to pick someone in fantasy, might as well be the best player, Tom Brady.
On paper.
On paper. Or on stats, I guess.
That's paper.
That's paper.
All right. let's move on from sports then.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else in sports.
And let's move into an update about our ongoing story about Disney's bid for Fox.
I know you may be out there wondering why we keep flipping this from TV to movies back to TV.
Yeah, because it kind of belongs to both.
Right, but it also depends on what part of the story we're actually talking about.
So in this case, this is very much a TV-centric story.
Anze. That's Anze, A-N-Z.
But, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anze?
Anze.
Anze?
Yeah, Anze.
Okay, I said it wrong.
Anze.
Anze. All right, but yes, Disney and Fox, the new wrinkle in the deal is about the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice, obviously, if this, or when this deal goes through, regardless of who purchases Fox, the Department of Justice has to approve it. They basically have to make sure that it passes regulation.
Right.
So, the Department of Justice has already gone ahead and said that if Disney ends up being the purchaser of the Fox assets, that they approve it with one caveat. The caveat being that they must agree to that Fox's regional sports networks are not included and are spun off of this deal.
So last week we talked about how, or a couple weeks ago, I forget which one it was, how Disney was already in talks with the Department of Justice. This is why. Yeah. So for the past 6 months, the Department of Justice has been talking with Disney about what they can and cannot buy in order to make this deal happen, in order to pass regulation. And this is why, because should Disney purchase all of these regional sports networks, that then makes ESPN sort of a monopoly on sports, with their only competitor being
like NBC Sports and some other I think
like
companies.
Big Ten or like Pac-12. Right. But those are like college networks.
Yeah, the NCAA owns portions of those, I think.
Right.
But yeah, it would be definitely most of the television sports would immediately become ESPN at that point. And so the DOJ was not super hot on this. That being said, they're not the only government agencies that need to okay this deal. There are going to be several others that they will also need to pass. Also, this is just Disney. Comcast deal, this is not in the cards. This is just Disney basically checking on what they would have to do to make this a reality for them. Disney is currently offering that $71.3 billion, as we mentioned before. Still needs several other regulatory bodies' approval, though. We'll see on the 10th of next month, which is just a measly week and a half away. So we will see what happens.
It's like 2 weeks. I think, wait, when is the 10th? Is that...
coming up.
That's Tuesday, right? I do believe that is a Tuesday, so we will have actual news on that in 2 weeks. Let me see here real quick. Pull up the calendar. What do we have? July 10th is indeed a Tuesday. So we'll have literally 2 weeks. We'll have next week, which is Wednesday, July 4th. And then the following, which is 11th, and we'll have a decision by then. It's coming up.
It's happening, guys.
It's happening.
Right, next up, our weekly story about Netflix.
So this is where Netflix is the bad guy, but also the good guy.
Well, yeah. Netflix, as with most companies, has a handful of bad eggs. Everybody does. In this case, the CEO, Reed Hastings, has decided to let go of their chief communications officer, Jonathan Friedland, after he used the N-word on at least 2 occasions at work. Ugh.
Yep.
Friedland was accepting of the punishment, as he later tweeted, "Leaders have to be beyond reproach in the example we set, and unfortunately I fell short of that standard when I was insensitive in speaking to my team about words that offend in comedy." The replacement has yet to be named, but yeah. Bye.
Yeah, good on Netflix for getting ahead of this before it gets out into like the press, or something worse than that, where then like people are calling for a boycott of Netflix.
Yeah, this immediately gets rid of any possible bad press they could have gotten.
Right, and this is how you're supposed to run a company.
Yep.
You hear something, you
do
look
something
into it
immediately,
and then you act immediately. You don't play the waiting game. You don't see if this is gonna blow over. You don't wait. This is something happened. Something bad happened. You know it's bad happened. It's been corroborated. Immediate punishment. Move on.
Yep. Speaking of moving on, our next story, to move right along, is another kind of workplace misconduct story. This one about the creator of MTV's Catfish.
I love me some Catfish.
So, Nev Schulman, creator of Catfish, is now resuming production following his allegations of sexual misconduct. They were found by an independent investigator that they were not credible. An MTV spokesperson claimed that these allegations were not credible and without merit, according to the independent investigator. They were made back in May, when a woman alleged that she was sexually harassed by Nev during production in 2015. So thus, production on season 7 of Catfish on MTV has now resumed. I want to be clear here, just because an independent investigator didn't find any dirt does not mean it definitely didn't happen. No one knows. But it means legally nothing happens to him, and everything continues with production on the show.
Right. It could mean nothing serious happened. It could mean it was just taken in the wrong context.
Right. It could just mean nothing happened in relation to the production.
Right.
Which means that there's no legal grounds for them to end production or penalize him in any way through the studio. Things may still have happened, but if they didn't have proof that it affected actual production, nothing happens to him.
Right.
Yeah. It sucks. But we'll move on.
Moving on. Okay, you step off your soapbox there?
Yes, a little bit.
All right.
All right. Leave the women.
All right,
HBO. HBO is in the news this week and about China. Last Sunday on Last Week Tonight, host John Oliver did a story about the Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Yeah, it's like CHI.
Yeah, and criticized him on the removal of term limits from the Chinese Constitution and a crackdown on civil society. In response, HBO's website has now been blocked in China, and mentions of John Oliver have been banned on their social media platforms. This won't exactly hurt HBO in China, as most of their shows are already heavily censored, and force those within the region, and the people within the region are forced to use VPNs to access the content anyways.
Yep.
HBO did not comment on the censorship, but why would they? Because they're, like they said, no one in China is watching them.
Well, no one in China necessarily uses their platform.
Right.
They use other methods to get there, like YouTube clips, but even YouTube itself has been severely censored in China, and as is the case with that kind of government. And this was also kind of one of the topics brought up by John Oliver of the Chinese government censoring literally everything of anything they didn't like.
Yeah.
I think...
Or that doesn't, quote, uphold Chinese values, and unquote. Right. They've been known for doing this for decades. This is not new. It's just that this is a really specific case.
Yeah. It's dumb. I mean, it's not dumb. This is exactly what they expect.
That's basically all this story is.
Yeah.
Is that China's been doing this forever.
I think John Oliver knew this was going to happen. I think HBO expected this to happen.
No one's surprised.
And this isn't surprising anyone. This is basically playing into the hands of, see, we told you something like this was going to happen.
In fact, I would argue this is not news.
This isn't news.
No, this is not news. You're desperate for another story.
That was.
But let's use that to end television news and move into...
Well, either talk about that or talk about this upcoming cancellation news.
Yeah, cancellations and renewals! These are actually probably bigger stories, actually. Oh, this first one is.
This first one. This was going to be the switch that I was going to make, but decided not to.
ABC has a big announcement this week in the aftermath of the cancellation of Roseanne. As you know, Roseanne was a huge hit for ABC. It was a massive success. It was a rating smash. And so canceling it because of Roseanne's incredibly terrible attitude on Twitter and actions and words, yes, was a good idea publicity-wise, terrible idea ratings-wise. So it's no surprise that later they did confirm they will be making a Roseanne-less spin-off of Roseanne called
The
Conners. So a couple important things about this. Apparently, a deal was made with representatives representing Roseanne, not Roseanne herself.
Right.
That this will have zero financial connection to Roseanne herself. So she will not benefit from this. She will not get any money from the production of this.
She will not be getting any credit in it either.
She's not credited. She's not related to this at all.
Right.
I mean, there is a chance that the people that they worked with do have enough ties to her where she may benefit in some sort of capacity. But generally speaking, in a really general way, surface level general way, she is not involved or having any connection to this. Mm-hmm. So that's the sort of good news. But yeah, so The Conners will feature, of course, The Conners.
John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman and the rest without Roseanne's character.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with that. Renewed for a third season on Netflix, Dear White People. I haven't watched the second season of that, but I watched the first season and I enjoyed it. So that's cool that shows keeps on keeping on.
I saw the movie version of that.
I didn't see the movie.
It was based off the movie. The series based off the film.
Yeah, I know it's based on the movie. I didn't see the movie.
Yeah, movie's okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't bother watching the series. I think I got the point of it from the movie.
It goes some interesting places. I thought the series was really well done. All right. But I haven't seen season 2. But yeah, we'll get a season 3.
Yeah, good for that.
Good for them.
Moving on.
The Terror will get a second season on AMC. Timeless has been canceled again after being renewed by NBC at a last-minute choice. It will now be canceled for reals. No more Timeless.
It may turn into a made-for-TV, 2-hour movie to wrap up everything. That has yet to be decided. Don't quote me on that. That is what they want. That's what Timeless people want to happen. That's what they're in talks now on doing.
Yeah.
But the TV show, that's where making it episodic, will not happen. It's done. It's canceled.
Yeah. We will see. No, yeah, it's probably canceled.
Yeah.
All right. Famous in Love on Freeform canceled after 2 seasons.
I don't know what that is, but it's on Freeform, so I put it there.
Yep. To answer your question from last week, Gordon Ramsay's 24 Hours to Hell and Back renewed for a second season on Fox, so we'll return.
Makes sense.
It's a good summer replacement.
It's a good summer replacement, and then Gordon Ramsay could shoot that thing in a month and then be done with it.
Yeah.
Put everything in the can and let them slowly roll it out.
Yep.
Constant paycheck for Gordon Ramsay too. Plus, you get to see the world, or you get to see the U.S. Get to help people. I don't know who likes doing that, but hey, good for Gordon Ramsay. This is definitely a really good kitchen nightmares replacement. So he doesn't have to stay in a place for a week or whatever. Just come in, 24 hours, done, leave.
Get in, get out. On. Can yell at some people, get out.
Yep. You get everything you want out of it in a nice 24-hour package.
It's true. All right, and then that's it for cancellations and renewals. Lastly, we have to talk about deaths in television here, or just in general. Vinnie Paul, age 54, was the drummer and co-founder of Pantera.
That's the band.
That's a sad one. Yeah, I know what Pantera
is.
Okay. Daniel Pylon, I cannot speak anymore. I've been talking too long. Age 77, Canadian actor of Dallas, Ryan's Hope, and Shoot 'Em Up. And lastly, Joe Jackson. Yes, that Joe Jackson.
Yep.
Age 89, was of course the manager of the Jackson 5 and father of Michael and Janet and the rest of them.
All the rest of the other 4 Jacksons.
All the Jacksons. So Joe Jackson.
Yeah, that was today. That was a couple hours ago.
Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah.
Joe Jackson has kind of a bunch of baggage. Yeah, he was important for the formation of that group and also for, contributing to the fact that Michael Jackson became one of the biggest stars we've ever had.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it is arguing that he created Michael Jackson.
You could argue that he literally did.
Yes.
But then there's also the baggage of he very obviously abused these children and put them in these entertainment situations way too young and kind of created issues that went to basically to his death. Yeah. Like Michael was the person that he was because of the way that his family raised him. And there's no way around that. Really.
No, there isn't. Yeah. But we can't get around that now by talking about music.
We can, because that's it for deaths. So let's move out of television and into musica.
The Billboard.
Start with the Billboard charts.
So who is the newest single?
This week, the top single following his murder last week.
Oh,
XXXTentacion.
Tentacoin?
Yes, Mr. Tentacoin himself hits number 1 on the charts after setting a new Spotify record for one-day streams, beating Taylor Swift's previous record. Sad! Exclamation point.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was sad.
No, the song is called Sad! Exclamation point.
Oh, by Tentacoin.
By XXXTentacion is your number 1 song this week.
Okay, so that's what Tentacoin's up to.
Tentacoin. Number 2, moving up a little bit on the chart, I Like It by Cardi B, Bad Bunny, and J Balvin. Number 3 is Nice for What by Drake. Number 4, Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know, but I like that name. And number 5, Girls Like You by Maroon 5 featuring Cardi B.
Oh, yeah, that was there last week.
A lot of Cardi B again this week.
Yep.
Your album chart. topped this week by debuting at number 1, Youngblood by 5 Seconds of Summer. Get your boy band on.
Wait, Youngblood is the name of the
Youngblood is the name of the album.
Ugh.
The artist is 5 Seconds of
Summer.
Summer.
I know the artist 5 Seconds of Summer, but Youngblood.
Number 2, Everything Is Loved by the Carters. That is the Jay-Z Beyonce album. Debuting number 2 this week.
I didn't listen to that.
Beat Out by 5 Seconds of Summer. Number 3, Question Mark by XXXTentacion.
I wonder why.
Again, those Spotify numbers.
Yep, Spotify.
Number 4, Beer Bongs and Bentleys by Post Malone. And number 5, Nasir by Nas, which was the Kanye West produced Nas album that came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
The third in his
ridiculous month of releases.
That Tiana Taylor thing, the last thing he did, will probably be on next week's turn.
Okay.
In case you're wondering about the rest of the Kanye explosion. That will probably do it, though, for the Kanye explosion. That will be the last one. And that's it for Billboard.
But it's not going to be the last we hear of Kanye, though.
No, definitely not. Moving on to...
By that, I mean, like, we're going to bring him up later.
Yes.
All right, but first, let's get it to new releases.
Our new releases
I keep doing this
for this weekend. Well, something for everybody this week.
Yep.
First up, Bullet for My Valentine with Gravity. Drake. Yep, it's time for a Drake album with Scorpion.
So that may or may not actually be releasing.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's supposed to be releasing this month, or it's supposed to be releasing this month. They put it at the end.
Doesn't hit this week. He misses this month.
Yeah, or he does a surprise Sunday release.
Something,
yeah.
Could happen. Florence and the Machine with High as Hope.
I haven't missed some Florence.
Yeah, that might be alright.
I'm gonna get into that one.
Gorillaz with their new album, The Now Now.
Now.
Jim James with Uniform Distortion. John Coltrane with Both Directions at Once. The Lost album.
Yes.
Let's Eat Grandma with I'm All Ears.
This is why you need commas, people.
Yeah, Let's Eat Grandma. Ray Davies with Our Country, Americana Act 2. The Milk Carton Kids with... Okay, big breath here. All the things that I did and all the things that I didn't do.
Yep.
It's good. It's a big list, actually. If I made a list of all the things I did and all the things I didn't do, that I don't know if I would ever finish it.
I think that is literally everything that could ever be done then.
Literally everything that's possible. Maybe things that are impossible.
Because apparently you did them, because you didn't do them.
Those are your new releases. Next up, 50 Cent.
2 quarters. Yeah, let's go to new releases.
50 Cent.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to read this story.
Go ahead, read it.
I'll paraphrase it.
All right. Because then you don't want to read the next one.
Apparently, he posted a photo on social media that has since been deleted that made an inappropriate joke about Terry Crews. I'll put it that way.
So we noted that Terry Crews earlier
was
making his statements
about sexual assault, and that was performed on him.
So 50 Cent decided
50 Cent made a meme or put a meme
trying to do a good joke
about this. Basically said that was mocking Terry Crews for, quote, freezing in fear, and also implied that if the same thing happened to 50, his response would have been so violent they would have had to take me to jail, he says. Terry Crews has since been asked what he makes out of the post, and he said, I love 50 Cent. I listen to his music while I'm working out, then added, I prove that size doesn't matter when it comes to sexual assault. This is classy of Terry Crews.
Yeah.
This is basically not saying anything bad about 50 Cent, even though he should have totally just owned 50 there. Like, he should have immediately, just completely,
But we know he could take 50
Oh, yeah,
down.
no, easily. He could take 50 Cent. That's not even a question. So, yeah, Terry's taking the high road here, which, all right.
Yeah.
You do you, Terry Crews. I'm not going to tell Terry Crews what to do.
No.
But, at the same time...
Because 50 Cent tried to do that, and look what happened.
It's a way to completely just ignore it and just move on, which is what Terry needs to do right now. So,
yeah.
I get
it's also not a battle that he should be fighting. He has bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But seriously, 50 Cent, you should know better. Come on, man. Don't make those kind of jokes. You're better than that.
Be the bigger man, if you can.
Be a better guy.
Yeah.
Be a better guy. Come on. All right, moving on. Our next story is about NoFX. We previously reported on this podcast, I think, the stuff about NoFX making a poor in taste joke about the shooting in Las Vegas.
We did?
Or maybe I had read about this.
Maybe you read about this.
Talked about the podcast.
No.
But yeah, in case you don't know, NoFX is a U.S. punk band, and they were performing at the Punk Rock Bowling and Music Festival. And their frontman, Fat Mike, said, "We played a song about Muslims and didn't get shot." To which their guitarist, Eric Melvin, said, "I guess you only get shot in Vegas if you're in a country band." To which Fat Burks responded, "That sucked, but at least they were country fans and not punk rock fans." Ugh.
Yeah, that's talking about inappropriate jokes.
So, of course, this is a direct reference to the Vegas shooting of last year that took 59 lives. Note, no one that's actually in a band died from that. It was just fans, just people in the stands.
Right.
Just want to be clear about that. Following the remarks, companies such as Stone Brewing have cut all ties with NoFX, including festival sponsorship. They have also decided to stop brewing a collaboration beer that they had with them, and any future profits from that beer will go to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Foundation, which provides post-Route 91 trauma counseling, alongside safety programs, training, and funding. Furthermore, all remaining shows on their U.S. tour have been canceled and effectively banned from playing any big venue in the U.S. So, yeah.
So they're done.
I mean, so NoFX has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah,
they're kind of a part of the punk establishment for decades. And yeah, this was in really, really bad taste.
Yeah.
And their reaction to it has also been not great. Like, basically, all these companies are pulling sponsorships. No venue wants to have them. And they're doing now is basically complaining about, like, oh, no, like, the U.S. abandoned us. Like, nobody loves it, like, likes us anymore in our own country. It's like, well, yeah, you made a really dumb joke.
Yeah, they made a quick YouTube, I don't want to say it was an apology video because I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But they basically said, we put gasoline on a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And that's really how they basically describe themselves now.
Yeah. It's just, you gotta be careful about what you say, especially when cameras are rolling, and if you're a really, really, really big band. But also, that's a terrible joke. Like, that's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like, you never want to wish any fans, getting shot at your shows.
No.
Like, at any show.
At any
you don't
show.
want that to ever happen.
No,
ever.
You want good experiences for anyone.
It shouldn't be a compare and contrast thing in anything. And especially the punk scene. The punk scene is supposed to be inclusive. Like, that's one of their tenets. And so to get all weird about country fans versus punk fans, I don't know. I think that they had this coming to them. All right.
Well, moving on then.
Yep,
I got nothing more to add.
Speaking of bands that have existed for a very long time, The Kinks, a band that goes back to the 60s.
Oh, that's the thing in my neck?
Yeah, that's the thing in your neck. On Monday, the frontman of The Kinks, Ray Davies, has revealed that the band would be reuniting for the first time in over 20 years. He has been in the studio with his brother Dave Davies, that's a name, and bandmate Mick Avery, working on new material and a new album. Ray Davies said he was inspired by the Rolling Stones, who recently completed a European tour to critical acclaim. Their last public performance was in 1996, following a lackluster release and creative tensions between the two brothers.
So if you're a fan of the Kinks,
yeah,
I know
and they've been around since, like I said, since the late '60s. So
yeah,
they've been around the block a few times.
I mean, 20 years is a nice round number to get back together.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if people want to get into them, now's the chance.
Get excited.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Finally, our last story is about Kanye West.
I told you we'd come back to him.
Always come back to Kanye. A lawsuit is underway over the life of Pablo. Specifically, it not actually being a Tidal exclusive.
Or was it?
You might recall that back when The Life of Pablo was first launched, it was launched exclusively on Tidal, the streaming service that Kanye partially owns.
And you know this because you bought the
Tidal
subscription.
Yeah, briefly had a Tidal trial to try out that thing. So, of course, as we know, it later did get released onto other streaming services. As of today, you can listen to it on app services like Apple Music and Spotify. But the lawsuit says that it was supposed to be an exclusive, as it was claimed originally. And they have tricked fans, according to this lawsuit. They are saying that Kanye and team tricked fans into subscribing to the streaming service. On February 15th, 2016, there was a tweet from Kanye that his album would never be on Apple and it would never be for sale. 6 weeks later, it was available on all platforms, including Apple. Since the album has been updated and remixed numerous times.
He fixed
wolves. Because he fixed wolves.
He fixed wolves.
And even on all the platforms, this has been the case. But Kanye is contending that the originals have not changed on Tidal.
Yes, the original album that he put out on Tidal, the album that he says is The Life of Pablo, will remain a Tidal exclusive. All the alterations, remixes, edits he's done since that are uploaded to other streaming sites, he's saying those don't count because that's not the album he promised.
I think this is semantics.
It is.
He himself was also, during all this, talking about how it was cool to him that he could change an album after it's been released. And he wanted this to be the future of music, to have this living document, you could say, of something that can change and breathe as it goes and as it ages. So him basically turning that around and saying, oh, well, the real Life of Pablo is exclusive to Tidal, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. It is. It's a bullshit exclusive trying to dismiss this case. So the judge presiding over the case denied Kanye's motion to dismiss as his argument does not pass muster in the context as I said, it's bullshit.
You just said.
The case is being looked at as consumer fraud in the New York courts where Tidal HQ is located. So we'll find out what happens with that. Probably nothing. They'll probably settle with the dude.
Probably will. This is not a class action lawsuit. I'd like to point that out.
Yeah.
This is one man versus Tidal.
Right. So that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but this even though this is taking place in New York, it will set a law precedent for all 50 states. For anywhere music is consumed and promoted. So maybe Tidal will actually do something worthwhile.
Yeah, maybe. Alright, that'll do it for music news. You have some thoughts about an album you listened to this week.
Yes, the White Album.
A White Album.
A White Album.
All
so,
right.
I listened to Dan and Shay.
Who are Dan and Shay?
The album, Dan and Shay.
Who are and what is Dan and Shay?
Dan and Shay is a country duo.
Okay.
It's also a band, a boy band, you could say.
Sure, they're boys and they're in a band.
They're boys and they're in a band. But they were at Stagecoach this past, I think it was either this past year or last year. I forget, but I like their music. It's good. It's very poppy, but not too poppy. So it's also country.
From what I've listened to, for the uninitiated, like I was a few days ago, it sounds kind of Rascal Flattsy, maybe a little big towny. So if you like the more pop edge of country, you'll probably like this.
I think we did note that they created a new song with Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson has a duet with them.
Yeah, has a duet with them on this album. So this thing is decent. I thought it was weird that they called it Dan and Shay.
Yeah.
Because this is their third album, not their debut.
They're self-titled.
It's their self-titled
album. A lot of people wait until they're self-titled.
Yeah.
Like Paramore did like 3 albums before they did a self-titled.
Right. And I think that's actually a good title for this because this is their self-titled and this is more of like where they want to be and what they can do. Yeah. This is kind of like an EP of everything they can do. It's like, hey, we have some love songs, we have some drinking songs, we do duet with pop stars, we do duet with unknowns, we can do ballads, we can do acoustics. It's a wide variety of songs that they can do, basically showing off saying, we're here, we're going to stay, and this is everything that you can expect from us coming forward. Like, we've gone through 2 albums, we've gone on tour, we've hit the festivals, we know what kind of music we want to play, we know what our style is, we know what our fans like now. Yeah. So this is us basically saying, this is what you can expect, this is us in an album, which is why I think it's titled Dan and Shay.
Right.
It's a good album. I mean, it's a safe album, there's nothing too...
That is a good word for what this is.
There's nothing too over the top with it. There's nothing too risky.
It's 100% inoffensive country festival music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically, like I said, it's what they can do. It's what they can provide. It's their coming out album saying, hey.
They cannot stress how much I think that this guy sounds like Discount Rascal Flatts.
Yes, I know.
He's trying so hard to do that. I just can't get over it.
Yeah.
Discount Rascal Flatts.
Discount Rascal Flatts. But they harmonize well together. I think they're going to be around for a while now.
Maybe.
I like them. I like them. They can definitely do hits. There's maybe like one or two on this album, but like I said, this is mainly for them basically demoing their range rather than sticking to one lane.
Yeah.
So check that out if you're a fan of country or a fan of Rascal Flatts.
Yep.
Or a fan of Dan and Shay.
Yeah, I feel like pop country. I would say check this out.
Yeah, this is definitely more pop country.
You'll probably like
that new pop country sound.
Right. It's not new.
It's not new. No, not new.
But yeah.
But yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's do it. That does it for music. Let's move on to video games. Let's just crash through these upcoming releases in video games this week. You have, first up, The Crew 2. That is the sequel to The Crew. Is coming out on PlayStation 4.
Yes.
Lumines Remastered on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. That is the remastered edition of PSP favorite Lumines. Nier Automata gets a Xbox One release with the Become as Gods edition, which includes all the DLC and all sorts of stuff.
Right, that was announced at E3.
Yep. Ultimine comes to PlayStation 4. Wolfenstein 2 comes out on Switch. And The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit by the people who brought you the first Life is Strange. Absolutely 100% free and is out today on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
It's also on Steam. But if you are unable to find it like I did,
yeah,
that's because it's not a game.
It's a demo, technically.
It's technically the demo for Life is Strange 2.
So the reason for this is probably because they had to figure out a way to release it for free that would qualify in the storefronts.
Yeah.
And so that's probably what they had to do for Sony. I don't know how that is for Xbox or Steam. It might be easier to find on Steam, I would think.
Right.
But yeah, it's what you think it is. I'll talk a little bit more about it later.
Yeah.
All right. Those are your new releases. Moving into the video game news.
So,
first up,
we're going to talk about the biggest game out there right now.
Yes, we have to talk about Fortnite because every week we have to talk about Fortnite.
So I got to play some Fortnite actually.
All right, what'd you think about Fortnite?
The building, because I only have one game to play, the building aspect of it is interesting.
Yeah.
The throwing up walls randomly is definitely an interesting concept.
Right.
But it is super cartoony. It is definitely aimed for kids.
Oh, yeah.
100%, and I'm still not going to touch it.
Nope. It's not for you.
The only reason I even played a match is because I went over to someone else was playing it.
Yeah.
So I decided, oh, here, let me have a shot. I've never played this.
Right.
I died with I survived to 50 though. That's because there was no one around me. I made sure of that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of messing around, trying to figure everything out. But it's an interesting game. I like certain aspects of it, but definitely not for me. I can see why people are so into this. They're so into it that they'll just throw money at it.
It's true. How much money, you ask?
How much money do they throw at this thing?
Well, with the release of the iOS version, Epic Games is sitting nice and fat, with the release turning out better than expected. In only 90 days, the game was able to amass $100 million, making it the most successful mobile game in years.
So that's over $1 million a day.
Yeah. By comparison, it has beaten all other multiplayer mobile action games to $100 million, except for Clash Royale, which accomplished the same feat in 51 days and making $154 million in its first 90 days. This was done with the first 2 weeks being invite-only on a closed beta, and the fact that it has yet to reach mobile in China, where it could make even more cash.
Yeah. Congratulations, Epic Games, on making Fortnite super successful. One thing I did want to note that those payments are not pay to win. Those are skins.
Right.
Limited skins, limited customizations.
Fortnite is just pay for
aesthetics.
Aesthetic stuff. Yeah.
Yes, which is, I think, good. But to get that many people to pay that much,
yeah, must be pretty lucrative stuff.
It's definitely a lucrative thing.
For sure.
Yeah. But congratulations, like I said, Epic Games. don't rely solely on this. Please continue to make more games.
Right. Do something else. Do something we want to play.
Yeah. Just do something with that $100 million. Throw it into a new game.
Okay. Moving on.
Or just reskin a game.
Moving on. Whereas Fortnite is making epic money, Bethesda is going to maybe lose some money from a lawsuit.
No, they'll be gaining money.
Gaining money from a lawsuit. Warner Brothers, though, might be on the losing end.
Yes.
They are suing Warner Brothers and their developer Behavior Interactive for stealing their designs, Bethesda's designs, artwork, and codes for Warner Brothers' Westworld mobile app game. They hired Behavior Interactive in 2014 to work on their mobile app Fallout Shelter.
Yes, this is Bethesda.
Bethesda did.
Yes.
This is written really weird.
Sorry.
The same company Behavior went on to create the Westworld mobile app game 2 years ago in 2016. Bethesda is confident in their suit, as both games had the same bugs that appeared in an earlier version of their Fallout Shelter game and have showed up in the Westworld game. Basically, they're saying you pretty much just ripped off Fallout Shelter.
Basically, you just reskinned.
Right.
Do note that this isn't necessarily Warner Brothers' fault.
No. Behavior seems to do this. It seemed to be the culprit here.
Yes, but Warner Brothers is the IP behind it, though, so that's why they're included in the lawsuit.
Right. So Bethesda is, of course, suing to get the game shut down, but also to get a slice of those profits.
Yeah. This has been one of the more profitable games for Warner Brothers Interactive, and if they're basically using their code, Bethesda is saying, well, we did the work, we should get the pay.
Yeah.
But, they also did license out to Creative Interactive, or Behavior Interactive, who also wrote the code.
Right.
So, depends on how much they actually may or may not. This is where legal battles come in. This is where contracts come in. And shame on Behavior Interactive for reskinning. They did the cheap way.
Yep.
And now they're going to pay.
All right. Then let's move on to Microsoft. This is kind of a follow-up to something that you had specifically wanted on your wish list in our pre-E3 podcast.
Yes.
We were kind of wondering about VR in Microsoft's Xbox One. They had hinted previously that there would be some sort of VR connection for the Xbox One, but nothing was confirmed. It was only kind of talked about that the Xbox One X, upon its release, would have some sort of interaction with a VR headset.
Right. They're saying it's the most powerful console ever created out there right now. So, and yes, we will eventually be doing VR capabilities.
Well, not so fast, because as of now, Microsoft has pulled back on plans to support VR headsets on the Xbox platform. Their chief marketing officer of gaming, Mike Nichols, said that they don't have any plans in virtual or mixed reality for the Xbox One, and that they believe that the PC is still the best platform for that. This, of course, is a 180 from their previous statements, as I mentioned, specifically from their 2016 E3 press conference, where Phil Spencer said that the X would support high-end VR, and that they had also partnered with Oculus to support Xbox controllers. Microsoft has gone forward with several PC VR headsets by partnering with Samsung and Acer, but for now, Nichols is barely even expressing interest in that platform. So, yeah.
So, VR is kind of dead at Microsoft, to say?
I was kind of floating when we talked about this off the podcast. I was kind of floating the idea of, I feel like this is part of their big reversal that they did about when people complained about the lack of exclusives. Mm-hmm. I think this is their way to say, now, never mind. Let's not worry about doing R&D to make VR work on this thing when we should be focusing all hands on deck to focus on getting games made.
Also, they've had time to see what PlayStation VR does and can do. Those numbers have been average at best for PlayStation in terms of not only VR titles being out there, but in terms of interest and sales. So there's actual hard numbers to back up this data of VR not necessarily being the platform that people want. So Xbox is focusing more of a TV-related gaming aspect rather than virtual consoles or anything related to mixed realities.
Right. And I mean, also, they may have also, instead of using the funds that they probably had for the VR like R&D, maybe they used those to buy all those studios that they bought.
Yeah, that could be. They bought like 10?
5 or 6 studios.
Yeah.
Or something ridiculous like that. So I don't know. Who knows what it is, but it's interesting that they're basically putting all their muscle for VR behind the PC, which is probably smart.
Right, I think. Well, you also gotta have some room to use VR.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what they should do is make Forza their VR platform, because
cool.
you don't need to move
Yeah.
to drive a car. You just put the thing in front of you and go and drive and look around like you're in a car.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You're sitting. It's a sit-down thing, and it's all VR around you. That'd be the easiest thing they could do. Well, I don't say easy because it's VR. I have no idea what the hell I'm being talking about. But if you want to make VR something, I think putting it in a car setting would be probably the most fun you could get out of it. Or at least show that, hey, we can actually do something with this by still making you sit still. You don't have to actually be up and moving around.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Your 2 cents. Not having developed a VR game in your life.
No, not just talking about VR for like the past 130 episodes or whatever.
Give or take. Alrighty, in that case, let's move on to our final and most exciting story, I think, of this entire podcast.
Oh, yes.
Guess what?
It's that time again.
It's that time again. It's time for Summer Games Done Quick. Now,
Woo!
we've talked about the Games Done Quick streams here on the podcast before. We're big fans. If you don't know what Games Done Quick is, it is a celebration of all things speed running. Speed running is essentially when you play a video game super fast to beat world high score, like time high score. Basically, to have the fastest beat time of a game in the world.
Yeah, you're not playing this game for the story. You're playing this to complete it.
Now, I want to say it's not always about world records for the speed running. Instead, Games Done Quick does it for charity. Runners, as they're called, people who speedrun games, will show off their skills by playing a game super fast, and people donate money while they're watching. That goes straight to charity. So the Summer Games Done Quick, which happens every summer, is the one that's happening right now. It started on
Sunday.
Started on Sunday. It continues till Saturday night of this coming week. Yes. It is this time benefiting Doctors Without Borders, so all money will go towards that. And so far have raised over $620,000. $680 running total right as we speak. Running total. See what I did there? So yeah, it's a fun thing. You can watch individual runners play a game. You can watch some occasional races where two or more runners race against each other to see who has the fastest time. We're watching right now a race between two people playing the indie game A Hat in Time.
Yeah, I think yesterday we watched 3 people race
Mega Man
6.
Yeah.
Check out their schedule. There's bound to be a game that you've heard of or that you like, that you adore, and just watch it be demolished.
So yeah, we talked about Awesome Games Done Quick, which is the one they do at the beginning of the year, back in January. And yeah, well, the reason why we watch is because it's super entertaining to watch people just break games.
Yes.
Like these runners figure out ways to kind of get around the levels in really creative ways, whether it be like clipping through environments, doing crazy tricks that weren't supposed to happen in the original game, or playing games in different languages so they run faster.
Or saving so you can skip cutscenes.
Yeah.
It's
crashing to the title screen on purpose.
Dying multiple times on purpose.
Your iPad just bailed on me.
Yeah, yes, dying multiple times on purpose so you get the extra boost.
Yeah. Always fun.
It's always fun. It's always a good time. If you're unable to watch these live, they do keep them recorded and posted on YouTube for your enjoyment. We always have a fun time watching them. They're fun. Check out the schedule.
So tune in. That's twitch.tv, and you'll find it in one of the featured channels as Summer Games Done Quick.
Yes. If you do donate, it's not just for charity. You can get prizes out of it too. If you donate at minimum $150 in total, so that would be in one go, but over the course of the run, if you donate $150, you get entered into their big drawing. That will include, for this year, an Xbox One X, a PS4 Pro, a Nintendo Switch, and an Alienware PC gaming computer.
Yeah.
Now, that's not your choice.
That's all.
That's all of them. Yeah. You get all four.
If you win.
If you win, for a $150 entry fee. We did see somebody earlier donate $3,000.
Yeah.
I think right now the record for a single donation is at $65,000.
It's a lot of money.
A lot of money, but hey, all this is for a good cause. None of this is going towards the speedrunners. They do this all on their own volition. They do all this running, all this testing on their own. It's all to charity, which is a great way to, one, start summer, but two, to support Doctors Without Borders. You know, these doctors go out there and
don't have borders.
Yeah, they help people in their own countries.
They're sans frontiers.
Yeah,
from what I understand. But yeah, so check that out. That's on Twitch. Like I said, you'll be able to find it pretty easily on the Twitch homepage, I am sure.
Right.
All right, let's wrap this up then with some thoughts
about a demo.
Any video games besides that one?
I actually stopped playing a game.
You stopped playing a game?
Yes, believe it or not, I have stopped playing
your
Marvel game.
What happened?
Yes. What happened?
You ran out?
Oh no, I didn't run out of game. I just got too busy to where I couldn't keep up with the daily stuff.
Right.
And so I fell behind on doing the daily tasks, and now I just haven't gone back to it. I could, but I've hit that point where it's gonna take me a while to continue to level up, and I was just doing the same thing over and over again, leveling up the same characters, and then trying to level up everyone else to unlock more stuff, but I couldn't. I needed more shards. Yeah. And it got to that point in most video games like this where my time put into it outran the time it took me to progress.
Right.
And while that does kind of suck, I got, almost 3 months out of it?
Yeah, you got a lot of time out of that game.
Yeah, almost 3 months worth of time for a free game.
Not bad.
Without paying anything. Yeah, I said I got my $0 worth for it. It's definitely a fun game. Definitely check it out. They will continue to do multiple promotional stuff. I think also one thing I did stop was that they stopped doing a lot of the promotional stuff because no more Marvel films. I do still get the notifications constantly though. I gotta stop that somehow. But yeah, it keeps wanting me to come back. But I stopped playing it. I mean, I'm done with it. Kind of done with most of that kind of game now. But we'll see what happens if I'll find something new to play.
I'm sure you will.
I'm sure I will. But you did find something new to play though.
We did. So, earlier in the show we mentioned The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is the name of the demo of sorts for Life is Strange 2 by the people who brought you Life is Strange 1, the developer Don't Nod. So Don't Nod also just recently... I told you not to. Don't nod. They recently also put out their second game, Vampire, which we have not played, but this is also what they're working on, and it's set up like a demo. It is a free episode in the vein of a Life is Strange, so it is looking around your environment, it is learning things by context clues in your environment, it is interacting with the other characters, making decisions that affect the story at a later time. But the difference this time is that you are a 12-year-old boy.
11.
Or 11, whatever.
Yeah.
Same difference. You are a young boy. And this kind of changes some certain things in the Life is Strange setup. You're not making life or death decisions.
Right.
You're not getting involved in any, life-threatening issues. Yeah. It's not that kind of thing. It is, you're a kid, and you're dealing with life with your father after your mother has passed away.
Passed her away or no longer or there. Something. We're unsure.
It sounds like she passed away.
That's what it sounds like.
But yeah, and I'm not that far into it. I'm probably maybe 45 minutes in. I'm sure there's a lot more game there. There's a lot more that I have to do on my to-do list. It is seemingly a little bit more open-ended than the Life is Strange games got. I think like sometimes in Life is Strange you got like a little bit of freedom to kind of mess around with your environments. This is like those portions, but kind of writ large. Like this entire thing seems like it's that, where it's like, oh, here are a bunch of tasks that you can kind of complete in any order. So just wander around the house and figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it opens up after that, but we'll see.
We'll see. So far, the internal commentary is very much like Life is Strange.
Yeah.
You like doing the internal introspective thoughts or like
about stuff in the room.
Yeah, that's definitely written from the people. You can definitely tell.
Yeah. But the perspective being different actually does affect kind of the vibe of the game.
Yeah.
It feels like it feels different because you are a child, a very imaginative child. And so they do get to play around with like the fantasy stuff a little more.
You like the cute button.
Yeah, there's something that I call the cute button, which is basically like the kid can interact with certain environmental things in different ways by pretending he has superpowers.
Yeah, like you could turn on. I try to turn on the TV.
Yeah, with his hands when he's really just using the remote with his other hand.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So it's a kid, being an imaginative kid, kind of dealing with like having a father who's maybe not the best role model in the world. So I'm sure there'll be more that comes out of that. I'll talk about probably how that wraps up next week once I finish it up, because it's probably not too much longer. I would bet it's probably only like a 2-hour experience.
Right, like we said, this is a demo. This is not a full game. So this is, from the looks of it, might be the first like episode.
Yeah. To be honest though, I'm not super hot on it right now. Probably because I haven't really gotten to the meat of it yet. But also because I was expecting more hooks into the Life is Strange universe. So far, all I've seen is that there is a letter from the principal of the academy.
You were also half paying attention because you were texting someone else, and then you left like 40 minutes in.
Because it wasn't hooking me. It hasn't hooked me yet.
You played 40 minutes.
It's fine. You have to keep in mind, the thing that I like about the Life is Strange universe is the story, and this doesn't have a whole lot of that yet.
Well,
it's all set up.
If you play more, you'll get to the story.
I know, I will. Like what I said, it hasn't hooked me yet, and probably will later.
Yeah. You read some stuff where like people broke down.
Right. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Like it breaks people or something.
Yeah. I mean, again, though, there are perspectives I have read from people who have children that seem to gravitate towards this thing, and I could see that if I had maybe more of that kind of thing, that would have a reason to...
What, like an inkling for kids?
No, like having a relationship with the son. I do not have a relationship with the son. So I don't necessarily know a whole lot of the context there. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the rest of the game. I'll report back next week when I play more of it.
Yep, we'll play more of it. But in the meantime, let's plug away.
That will wrap up video games. That's all I played.
We're going to look into acquiring some Mario Tennis Aces?
Maybe. It's a big investment because I want to buy the Pro Controller.
You want that controller for some reason.
So that's a $120 investment.
Yeah.
And so I have to do that, and I recently found out that apparently I'm not renting, I'm buying a suit, which was news to me. Yeah. So I didn't realize that, anyways. So I didn't realize it was going to be out $300. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
All right, so so that will do it for video games, and that'll do it for the Media Boat Podcast. If you want to find us, we are on YouTube streaming every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Except for maybe next week.
Except for next week, we'll kind of play fast and loose next week because it is a holiday. But generally speaking, we are on YouTube.
You don't salute generally speaking.
We are on YouTube. Just search Media Boat Podcast, and you'll find our page there. You can subscribe to us and get notifications when we go live. You can also find us in audio format on iTunes or other podcatchers of your choice.
Do note that if you find us on iTunes, it's only the past 10 episodes.
Yeah, they only post the past 10 episodes for us, so you'll only go right now, as it stands, back to March of this year. But if you want to find all our podcasts, you can go to Podbean, where we host our podcasts. We have the entire archive there, I think.
Yes.
So
that's the entire archive. Those are all listed. You may have to go back like 20 pages or so.
But you'll find it.
You'll find all 130
But yeah, that is
plus
Podbean.com.
episodes.
Just search Podbean, search Media Boat Podcast on there, and you'll find everything.
Actually, you'll find more because we do all those specials too.
Everything.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter at MediaBoatcast. Or sorry, at MediaBoat. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, at MediaBoatcast.
It sounded wrong. We are also on Facebook. Just search MediaBoat Podcast and you'll find our page there. You can like and comment. If you want to find us on Twitch.tv for our streams of video games, you can find us at twitch.tv/MediaBoat. And lastly, if you want to support us financially, you can go to patreon.com/MediaBoat. There you can donate as little as $1 a month. If more people support us, we will eventually make exclusive content just for our patrons, and it will help us make what we do even better. So thank you in advance for supporting us. All right, that'll do it for the Media Boat Podcast. We'll be back sometime next week, probably for an audio-only version of the show. So tune in for that. In the meantime, we are gone, and I need to rest my freaking voice.
Yeah, you talked about during the Incredibles, and then you kept
talking.
I
talked about before that on the phone for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot.
All right.
I need to stop talking.
Well, I'm going to the gym. All right.
Okay.
Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. YouTube After Show. All right. Dr. Tuned In. Anze, Quickie, and I want hockey back. Also, this goes directly to you.
Okay.
Don't you dare hate on Brady.
I can hate on Brady all I want.
Yeah, like I said with LeBron, I can hate on him, but I can't deny his talent.
Yeah, you can.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
No.
Yeah, you can. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah, okay. We're done here. We're stop streaming. Thank you all for tuning in. Probably no live show next week, but we'll definitely have a regular podcast for that. All right. Thank you for tuning in.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace.